Well, it may be cliche, but I'm going to say it anyway. Howdy, partners, and welcome to the first ever Stampede Bowl in Calgary. Week 5 kicks off with the Stampeders coming in off a bye, 2-1 to start this season. Winnipeg a perfect 3-0, and the stage is set for a great battle of veteran quarterbacks.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Yeah. Yeah, veteran quarterbacks. It looked like last week Zach Collaros was really just showing off. He completed 83% of his passes, threw for 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Zach Collaros also gets Brady Oliveira back in the backfield. Vernon Adams, big play VA, still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass as a Stampeder, but he's led the offense to 6 touchdown drives, and he has a rushing major as well.
Third home game of the season already for Dave Dickinson and his Calgary Stampeders. They are 1-1 thus far, and Mike O'Shea 13-10 all-time versus Calgary. They have won 8 of the last 10 in this head-to-head series. Calgary won the toss. They want the ball here at home. Last year, these two clubs split the season series. All right, here we go. Giddy up. Stampede Bowl is underway. It'll be Castillo getting us started in Calgary. That kick into the wind that we do have here. It's going to be taken at the 20 and brought back up on the far side. Eventually returned just shy of the 40 by Benjamin.
Well, you can take last week's game for Vernon Adams sort of out of the mix. The rain was just coming down bad. It was more of a running game than anything. So in a couple of games, Vernon Adams has thrown for 803 yards, looking for that first touchdown throw. But that's an average of 268 yards per game. Again, really tough conditions last week.
First time in his career that he has gone 3 games without a passing touchdown. I went back through all of the game logs, and games that he has started, he has not had this 3-game stretch. A little bit of a slip on the first touch of the game into the hands of Dedrick Mills. Let's take a look at this Calgary offense.
Chris Fortin will play in the middle for Bryce Bell at center. Take a look in the backfield. A lot of weapons in that backfield for Vernon Adams to choose from, including Jalen Philpott. With the lost injury of Reggie Begelton, for Jalen Philpott in a more prime position in that offense, see a lot more targets.
No gain on that first down slip from Mills, so 2nd and 10 for VA from the pocket down the field, and that is complete, close to a first down to Eric Brooks.
Did have a downpour about an hour ago here in Calgary, but that has cleared through. Conditions good, a little bit breezy down in the field, but no problem for Vernon Adams. He knifes that right in there. Get things started offensively.
Brooks with the catch, just 5'7", proving it's all right to be little bitty. I got a few of those up the sleeve
I got
tonight.
a couple too.
Yeah, we'll see how she goes. People will love it, I'm sure. 3rd and inches, pushing ahead. This is tight. I think there was enough forward progress to pick up the first down, and yes, it will be ruled a first down. Here's the Winnipeg defense.
Well, one guy that is going to be fired up for this one is James Vaughters, former Calgary Stampeder, on that defensive line for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and doing a nice job on the opposite side of Willie Jefferson. In the middle, Tony Jones has done well in his first 3 starts as that leader in the defense, leads the team in tackles. I thought Terrell Bonds had a great game in the secondary last week, had an interception taken off the board in review, but played well.
Fresh set at the Calgary 49, high snap. VA gets it, hands it off, and they'll push it ahead. Close to half of what they needed. Back on the ground to Dedrick Mills, who's had a great start to the season, over 200 yards rushing already.
Yeah, one of the keys to beating a very good Winnipeg team, no matter who you are, is time of possession. Time of possession is tied directly with the balance in the offense. So that's where Dedrick Mills comes in. If you want to beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you got to keep your offense on the field, keep Zach Collaros off it.
Calgary's offense averaging about 135 yards per game on the ground. They're throwing here, though. Adams, far side to the 45, and that's hauled in. It's Rhymes with his first of the day.
Such a smooth route runner. Dominic Grimes just comes out of his break. And that short side of the field, number 2 receiver. Look how smooth he is coming out of the break. Really just a speed cut to the sideline, and nice 13-yard gain for Dominic Grimes. 3 times over 1,000 yards in his career.
171 yards on the season prior to that catch for Grimes. Fresh set of downs for VA again. Look at all the time in the pocket. Down the field, drops it into the 5. End zone, touchdown, Clark Barnes. There's a flag back at the 50. We'll monitor that. VA slow to get up. Barnes gets the stamps on the board in the Stampeder Bowl.
Good news for Calgary and their fans was the throw and catch. And Clark Barnes' average this year on 6 catches is through the roof at almost 30 yards a catch. So Vernon Adams has been finding him deep. The bad news is Vernon Adams got hit on that. That's what the flag is. It's a late hit on the quarterback.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. But we do have, roughing the passer, Winnipeg number 95. The 15-yard penalty will be applied on the ensuing kickoff.
It's Jake Thomas, the guilty party.
And VA got up limp.
Calgary has not been shy to throw the deep ball yet this year. That is their 8th completion of 30 or more. Paredes out, and he smooths one through, and a great start for the Stampeders at home against the Bombers. They lead 7-0. We'll monitor VA's situation, but Barnes with the major.
Clark Barnes with a nice route here. He's going to go with a bit of a stop and go route on Marquise Bridges down at the bottom of your screen. There he is right there. There's the go route right along the numbers, and then wins the jump ball as it arrives at the other end. Vernon Adams gets rolled on from behind. Didn't look like Jake Thomas meant to do it. He kind of got thrown into the quarterback's legs.
First touchdown of the year for Barnes. Finishes off a 6-play, 72-yard drive that took about 3.5 minutes. Vernon Adams Jr. does appear to be okay, but let's get another look at this.
Well, he got off limping, and by the end of that, the extra point, it looked like he had shaken that off. But this is the Jake Thomas kind of rolls into him from behind. Now, he stopped his roll. It wasn't like he kept going knowing that Vernon Adams was there. So I don't think there was any malicious intent. In fact, he went over and just said, hey, that happens. But looks like he'll be okay.
The tent is up on Calgary sideline, but apparently it's for Clark Barnes, who caught the touchdown. He's getting looked at right now. We'll keep tabs on that. Collaros gets the ball on his own 40, trailing 8-0. Quickly, far side of the field, up to the 45. Gets it into the hands of Clercius.
Well, that's what I meant about last week. I mean, Zach Collaros last week looked like he was showing off. Like he's just, 334 yards, 83% was his completion percentage. He missed 5 throws in an entire game.
78% on the year.
You could play against air and miss more than 5 throws.
So you're saying Edmonton needed to play better last week. Here's Collaros, a little bit of a draw. Look who it is, right up the middle, pushes it up almost to midfield. But the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have their main weapon back. Brady Oliveira gets 8 yards on his first touch.
Yeah, and I agree with the panel guys in the pregame show talking about how this offense goes through number 20. And he's back in the lineup. Just 2 carries in that first game, which was week 2 of the season for Winnipeg. They had to bye in week 1. But in that second carry, he hurt his shoulder.
3 options out to the left. Calgary's going to bring some heat. They'll give it to Brady, pushing it ahead, and he's got 5 more.
Mike Vanderpool is back in the O-line at left guard. Gabe Wallace had played the last 2 games there, did a nice job, but Vanderpool gets his job back now that he's healthy. And yeah, Brady Oliveira back in the lineup. Huge for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, even though they are 3-0 to start the season. They get that leading running back, leading in the CFL last couple of years. Last year's MOP and outstanding Canadian is back in the lineup.
2nd and 4 from the Stampeder 50. Stamps brings some pressure again. Collaros gets it away, and that'll be a first down on the far side of the field as he goes back to Clercius for the 2nd time on this drive.
Bomber receivers, whether it's a younger player in Clercius out there with just a little stop route in front of the zone defense, or a veteran like Dalton Schoen or Nick Dembski, they know if they run the right routes crisp, get to the spots they need to get to, if they're the open man in the zone, there's always one guy open to break down the zone. Zach will find him.
Another 7 yards for Clercius, has them up to the Calgary 43. Handing it off again, Oliveira puts it back and gets a nice chunk on first down against this Calgary defense.
He's getting fired up early in this.
He's
one.
not hitting the
He's
helmet
not
yet,
slapping him yet. But the job of these guys right here is to try and slow that guy down in Brady Oliveira, and Flo Rimolade will be the leader in that regard. He's got a quarterback sack on the season. Kyle Wilson, former Hamilton Tiger Cat, will start in the middle. He's just signed with Calgary, and the former BC Lion Adrian Green has 2 interceptions on the season already.
Calgary has just 3 sacks, but they have 3 of the top 10 defensive linemen in quarterback pressures so far this year. It's Oliveira again, and he's got a first down as the Bombers go creeping down the field here.
Well, this is the Brady Oliveira is back in the lineup. 26 yards already rushing the football in this first drive. Here's the injury against the BC Lions. It was the 2nd run of the game for him. Now he had, what do you have, over 40, almost 50 yards in 2 runs. But that one, the shoulder just wasn't quite right. Went back to the huddle, was in there for the rest of that drive, which was a touchdown drive. And then that was it.
Jareth Stearns takes it down, spins off of the first tackle, and he's inside the 25 as Winnipeg on the verge of the red zone, a place where they've been pretty good so far this year at 86%. In fact, with Zach at quarterback, they're 4 for 4 on touchdowns once they get inside the 20.
So what does the Calgary defense have to do to try and slow Brady Oliveira? Be responsible in their gaps. So that gap between the center and guard on both sides, between a guard and tackle on both sides. Be gap responsible.
Oliveira up the middle, first down for Winnipeg. As what a response here after giving up that early touchdown. They're looking for one of their own.
Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. These are the 2 A gaps. There's strong A, they go to B here. So there's A gap there, B gap here, and C gap on the outside. Those are the gaps going both ways. Strong A, strong B, strong C, weak A, weak B, weak C going backwards. So got to be sound in those gaps. So if you're Miles Brown or Rimolade and you got the B gap, boy, you better be in it, or Brady Oliveira is going to make you pay.
They'll operate from the Calgary 16. Oliveira again, and he takes it down inside the 15, close to the 10, and that's his 6th carry of this opening drive.
Now the other way you add to that is you add in linebackers. Coach down in the panel is getting all excited right now. I bet you he's got those tacos, and he's setting up right now. He's setting up on a line, offensive, defensive line. But you bring in some linebackers to help in some of those gaps, because there's only 4 guys and there's 6 gaps.
Collaros gets a look at things. 2nd and 6 from the Calgary 12. Looks to his right, in trouble, gets it away. There's a flag. It's caught. It would be a first down. And we'll see what the call is here.
Looks like we're going back. Holding call up front.
Holding. Winnipeg 69. The 10-yard penalty. We'll replay 2nd down.
Kendall Randolph.
Kendall Randolph is facing an inside move, and he grabs on.
Backs the Bombers up. 2nd and 16, 11th play of the drive from the Calgary 22. Oliveira out of in the slot to the right of Kolaris. They dump it off to Dembski. Turns, looking for some blockers. Got a couple, still pushing. And he'll be stopped short. Just shy of the 10, and that'll bring up a third down for the visitors.
Just extra effort from number 10, and what a start to the season for Nick Dembski. 4 touchdowns on the season. Big game last week, and look at the second effort. First, second, and third guy didn't beat him.
75th game in a row with a catch for Dembski as the streak remains alive. So 3rd and 4, it'll be a Castillo field goal attempt from just inside 19. From just inside the left hash as well. Castillo puts it up and through. Winnipeg has to settle for the field goal. That don't impress me much here at the Stampede Bowl. Welcome back to Calgary. And Suits, you were talking about it earlier. You know, if you're going to have success against Winnipeg, control the ball. And I think Mills and Calgary are one of the teams in the league that are capable of doing that.
Yeah, no question. I mean, when you look at Dedrick Mills' numbers, the average is kind of off. It's 4.8, which is not normal for his numbers, but it was a good game for Toronto's defense.
VA throwing here, that's incomplete. Mills does lead the league in rushing touchdowns with 4.
Exactly. And, you know, when you look at his couple of games, over 218 yards, really in 2 games, because the Toronto game, he had 13 carries, but he only had 27 yards or some 23 yards, something like that. So it really affected his average. But, yeah, he's totally capable of getting manageable situations for Vernon Adams on 2nd down.
96 yards last time out, week 3. Weather conditions not ideal in that game. It was here in Calgary. Now he'll slide out in the slot. Empty backfield, VA. Backside spin. And now he's going to take off. Pushes it ahead. Will be stopped short of the first down. Looks okay, though.
Yeah, look good on the run. That's what I was going to start with. After getting rolled on by Jake Thomas in the first series of this game, back out and to do this blind turn, get out of there and run the way he did, looks like the knee is fine. So that's the good news. I think Dave Dickinson would rather see him step out of bounds there rather than take that hit, being 2 yards short anyway.
First look at Mark Vassett, 28-year-old from Australia out of Colorado, into the game. Big leg. And Valvo will bring it out. In trouble, trying to escape, will not. He's taken down at the 6. When we return, Chantel will have more on Zach Kolaris and playing in the Stampede Bowl. Well, there it is, the Stampede Bowl. For more on the hype from the players for this game, let's send it down to Chantel Chan.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with Zach Kolaris, and he said that he thinks it's really cool that the league is having a game like this, also because it's starting a new tradition in the league and that they're going to continue to play with it. He also told me that it's great that they're playing in Alberta because he loves the crowds here, and that it also brings awareness to the city, and that he likes it. Likes the fact that it's during Stampede Week and loves the theme. And of course, there's a nice trophy involved, he said, guys.
Yeah, it's a great trophy. Yeah, we were talking about up in the booth before the game. If Winnipeg wins it, do they have to play in this game next year to defend it? If Calgary wins it, somebody else could come in and try to get it.
I think these two opponents might be that's part of the scheduling now.
That's just how it works.
That's just how it's going to work.
Kolaris, far side, finds Schoen for the first time.
And here's the other thing, that at the end of that game last week, when Zach was interviewed by Brett Dort down on the sideline in Winnipeg, one of his quotes was, "I still feel 25 most of the time." That is from Troubadour, sung by George Strait, the king of country music, And I'm wondering if he was already in his mind in Calgary as soon as that Edmonton game was over.
Just a little tease. Just a little tease.
A little tease. I still feel 25 most of the time.
Looked like it last week. Flags before the snap here. Collaros' career high, if you go back to 2016, it was actually
Offside
against the Calgary
Calgary number
Stampeders.
6. It's a 5-yard penalty. Makes it a first down for Winnipeg.
Well, last week, Zach Collaros completed his first 14 throws in a row.
That's the best stretch of his career, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. He playing the top of his game, and our coach down in the panel, Paul Lapalisse, said before the game that his recognition has been outstanding. I mean, this is a veteran quarterback. We've seen it before. We shouldn't be surprised by it, but he's on top of his game right now.
Brady Oliveira here, short pickup on first down. Here's a look at Collaros last week, what we were talking about.
So he missed just 5 throws, did not make the mistake to throw the interception, and there's the 14 passes. It's a career high for him, and completed passes consecutive, so just on top of it. And you know what? The Edmonton Elks didn't play bad defensively. They had a good third quarter.
He found a way.
And he found a way. He found the open guy.
Gets this one away. He intercepted. It's taken away. Webb down to the 5. End zone touchdown, Calgary. Webb with the pick 6, and the Stampeders increase their lead at home.
Damon Webb must have heard us talk about Zach, and now he's on top of his game. Said, okay, I got to end this conversation as quickly as I possibly can. How about jumping to curl? That's Damon Webb disguising the fact that he wanted to be deep middle, that he was going to be deep to help with any deep throw. He sat on the route, jumped it on the inside curl. Zach didn't count him on that underneath coverage. That's a pick 6 for Damon Webb. And Collaros, in our video chat with him this week, said Damon Webb's a great player. He was great in Ottawa, too.
He gave him a lot of praise, didn't he? Probably won't do the same right now, I would think. Webb's first interception of the season, and he's had a good year as Calgary in full control early. 15-3, they lead.
Zach Collaros wanted Nick Dembski. Here's Damon Webb right here. He thinks that he's going to be deep in the middle with a zone look coming from the Calgary defense. Go ahead and run it, guys, and watch how Damon Webb disguises it. Stop it there. Now, he looks like he's going to drop into that deep middle zone. He doesn't. He jumps the curl route, knowing that they're outnumbered on that side. 4 defenders to the 3 receivers. Jumps that inside route. He takes it to the house, 30-yard pick 6. The Calgary Stampeders a big lead in this game early on.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers facing an early deficit here in their push to go to 4-0 on the season. But when we talked with Zach earlier in the week about the Calgary defense, he did mention Damon Webb, and that's one of the guys that he has to worry about. It's funny to see it come to fruition here early in this one.
Yeah, and he brought up 2 guys, Damon Webb and Flo Rimolano.
Valville takes it at the 10, pushes it out almost all the way up to the 35-yard line, and we'll see what Collaros does for a bounce back here on the road. He's 5 of 6, but that one incompletion ended up in his own end zone.
This is unfamiliar territory for the Bombers when they're down early in a game. But I mentioned, you know, how Zach Collaros is seeing the field, understanding it. That was a great disguise by Damon Webb. He mentioned Webb to us, that he's an outstanding football player, was in Ottawa as well, played a different position there. Here he's the safety for the Calgary Stampeders, but Collaros bounced back after a slow third quarter last week. He'll be back.
From the 34, Collaros pushing it ahead. And out of nothing, he gets something, and that something being 6 yards right up the middle.
Yeah, that's not a design play that Winnipeg runs unless Chris Streveler is in the game. That's really an RPO look, but because the Stampeder flashed right in his face, he didn't have a chance to go out and look for a throw. Just got what he could.
It's Clarence Hicks, who stared him down. Still coming away with a decent pickup on first down. So it'll be 2nd and 4. Final play of the opening quarter of the Stampede Bowl. Brady Oliveira pushing ahead. Heavy contact. Won't stop him, though. And he's got a first down for Winnipeg, who find themselves trailing by an even dozen here in Calgary. What a start for the Stampeders as they look to begin the year 3-1. They lead 15-3 at home. Well, Calgary leads 15-3. If you actually look at the stats, a lot of time of possession for Winnipeg. Pretty good on the ground, but that pick 6 really stands out pretty significantly right now.
Yeah, uncharacteristic of Zach Collaros, especially after we talked about how well he played last week. But Damon Webb, nice disguise there. And when you think about the Calgary game plan, it's been 2 big plays. The big play to Clark Barnes for the touchdown, and then that pick 6 by Damon Webb. So yeah, 2 big plays. Other than that, it's the Winnipeg game plan. Good running game, ball control. They had the time of possession in the first quarter, but Dave Dickinson will look at the scoreboard and say, I'm happy with the way that first quarter turned out. We got the lead.
You'll take it. There's no doubt about that. It was a first down for Winnipeg to wrap up the opening quarter. No work from their own 47 to start quarter number 2. Back on the ground to Brady. We were distracted during the quarter break as Enoch raced the world's fastest cow.
Look at that. Now, hat flew off.
Classic
checking
cow.
Behind. That cow can go now, too. Enoch's going to... I guarantee you those nachos are sitting right where they need to be. He's going, well, I ate too many of those bag nachos. I tell you that right now.
Big win. Congratulations, Enoch. Still got it.
Why does he get such a big lead at the start?
I mean, that's obviously was unfair now. I mean, probably should have started the same place. Lapo sitting there watching, still eating the world's largest taco in a bag. They'll get it to Brady Oliveira here. And that will not be enough for a first down. And Winnipeg's going to have to kick it away and play the field position game a little bit.
That was pretty good, though. Enoch maybe could still play a couple downs.
Kind of looked like it, didn't it?
Like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
That was good. That was good. Benjamin goes back to return this kick. Jamison Sheen for the first time today from his own 41, hangs it up there, had the win at his back on this kick. Benjamin takes it, spins to nowhere though, taken down just outside the 12 after a 49-yard kick. Vernon Adams with a 12-point lead will have the ball when we return to Cowtown. Well, there's a live look at Clark Barnes, who we have not seen since he had that 43-yard touchdown. He has not come back to this football game. Here's a look at it.
Right at the end of this,
right there,
it looked like his ankle got twisted and rolled on. He hasn't returned. The Brampton native, who coming into this game tonight led the team in receiving yards, and I mentioned that huge average for Clark Barnes at almost 29 yards per catch.
I got it.
If this is an offside or procedure.
Offside. Winnipeg number 5. It's a 5-yard penalty. Will repeat first down.
That's Willie Jefferson.
There's that angle, going to get a retape. But yeah, this is the average I'm talking about, 28.8 per catch. His teammate Dominic Rhymes at 21.4 is the closest.
After that big catch, it now sits at 30.9 for his average on the year. Here's Adams bouncing around the pocket, gets it away near side. That's Alford, and he's got a first down for Calgary. The first overall pick in the 2025 draft has his third catch of the year.
Tremendous mobility by Vernon Adams. Dave Dickinson talked to us about how much he likes his mobility and that he wants him to use his legs. He'd like him to run occasionally, but that was running with his eyes up, downfield, gets the shoulders around, takes a bit of a hit after the throw. First down.
Rough ride for VA thus far in the Stampede Bowl. This time they'll stretch it out. Mills finds some room all the way up to the Calgary 35. A pickup of 7 for Dedrick Mills.
Nice run off that left side. Zach Williams at guard. There's Fortan. I talked about playing for Bryce Bell up front. Done a pretty nice job so far in this game against a real good defense.
Mills, 7 career 100-yard games for the Calgary Stampeders. They're going to go back to him again. A little bit of a spin move. Looking for some help to push it ahead, but he's driven back instead. And we'll see where this ball is spotted. I think it'll be short of the first down. Not by much.
Mobile quarterback can also really help a running game after he hands the ball off. Vernon Adams is really good at this too. He goes back to the fundamentals that you're taught as a young kid as a quarterback, where once you hand the ball off, continue with your bootleg or continue with your movement outside of the pocket so it keeps that backside defender from getting there in a hurry.
Quincy Vaughn is in, looking to push it ahead and believe. There it is. You see Ben Major there signal the first down for the Stampeders.
Quincy Vaughn, big man out of North Dakota, 250 pounds. 23-year-old has not been denied yet. There's a couple of attempts in the short yardage department, but 3 for 3 on the season.
They'll work from their own 39. Walker's in to try to pave a path for Mills. Does not work this time as the tackle is made by Kyrie Wilson.
I'll show you the fake that Vernon Adams goes with after. Again, this is just a simple running play off the right side of the offensive line. And watch Vernon Adams after he hands the ball off. It may be a small thing, but he hands it off and then he walks out like he still has the ball and holds that defensive end for one more split second.
Lost a yard on the play, so a likely throwing down here for Vernon Adams. Winnipeg shows pressure. They bring pressure. VA hit as he throws down the field. Up for grabs. And it's held on to Tevin Jones on the far sideline. Wins a battle with Terrell Bonds.
Tevin Jones out there at wide receiver. 16 targets coming into this. 81 yards receiving. That's probably his biggest play as a Stampeder. I know that Dave Dickinson wanted to get him after playing against him when he was in Edmonton.
It's good things in Edmonton.
Well, it's amazing how much that happens, where when you become a free agent, all of a sudden a team calls you because you played well against that team.
Remember that game? 24 yards there for Jones. Back to Mills, trying to break away from Willie, but eventually goes down.
So Labor Day last year, Edmonton in town, of course, Labor Day weekend. This happens, and Tevin Jones scoops this, fumble, takes it outside. Now, he had over 200 yards receiving in that game, so this was just one of a bunch of plays. And Dave Dickinson looked at that and said, when that guy becomes a free agent, we got to get him over here.
Well, and with them losing Reggie Begelton, opportunity for Jones here to maybe contribute a little bit more. Calgary marching again. Big hole right up the middle for Mills. Eventually tracked down inside the 20. That's a touchdown saving tackle at the end of it for Marquise Bridges, I believe.
You're going to be a star receiver. You got to block too. You got Dominic Grimes there. He's looking backside. Watch the run to Mills. Mills over here. Early movement.
See how they sort this one out. 20-yard carry for Mills to put them back inside the red zone.
Offside, Winnipeg number 6. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still going to be first down.
Greta Cranby.
There's Dominic Grimes. You can see from the outside, Tevin Jones as well come in for a block. Right here. Big block by Jones in that second level.
Calgary looking for more here. Adams 1st and 5 from the Winnipeg 11. 3 options out to his wide side right. Dedrick Mills stands in next to his quarterback. VA throwing, and it's dropped. Looking for Philpott, and he couldn't hang on.
We had a nice talk with Jalen Philpott, who, you know, that despite this drop has had a good start to the season, and he's had a injury-plagued journey. You think about that hamstring that cost him an entire season a couple years ago, and then came back slowly last year. 650 yards receiving.
10th play of the drive for Adams. A ton of time in the pocket. Dumps it off. Far side. End zone. Touchdown. Damian Alford, welcome to the Canadian Football League. His first touchdown comes here at the Stampede Bowl as Calgary takes full control.
Goes from the left side of the formation, Alford all the way across, so this is a route that takes time to develop, and the protection provides the time to Vernon Adams. Waits for Alford to clear the linebackers. Once he gets outside leverage, he gives him the ball, and away he goes. He's got the corner for the major.
Vernon Adams Jr., we talked about it, coming in 3 games, no touchdown passes. He's got 2 in the first half of this one against Winnipeg. Paredes up and through. And how about this start for Calgary? They lead 22-3. Alford, first overall pick, has his first touchdown.
Combination coverage here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Alford's going to do this crossing route. He's got a deep route here. That takes the deep zone players out of it, and a curl on the outside. That curl is going to freeze the linebacker. So here comes Alford on the crosser. The curl freezes the linebacker there. He gets clear and outside of that, and now he's got the corner and outside leverage. 11-yard touchdown for his first in the Canadian Football League.
Moves well for a big man, 6'6". This is taken just inside the 30. Short return pushed out beyond the 40. And the Calgary Stampeders, full control of a huge divisional game against Winnipeg. Don't miss all 12 seasons of the legendary Canadian series featuring the hilarious misadventures of Julian, Ricky, and Bubbles. It's the Trailer Park Boys. Stream all seasons now on Crave. Proudly Canadian. No doubt about it. 6.5 to play first half. Winnipeg got to get something going offensively here. Out in the flats. Stearns trying to break a tackle. He will not. Covered extremely well on the play by Moncrief.
Yeah, Moncrief's chipped in a bunch in the start of this season for the Calgary Stampeders. 3 knockdowns, couple tackles for losses. That's another big play on the quick hitch to the outside, and watch how quickly Moncrief goes.
They lose 2 yards on the play. 4 receivers, wide side right for Collaros here. Needs 12 for the first down. Gets it away. Bobbled but held on to. Moncrief the tackle again. And it'll be a 2-and-out for Winnipeg. 3rd catch of the game for Clercius.
Oh, let's take a look at Derek Moncrief's work. Looking at the quarterback, he's got his zone drop. He lets the deep one go. That's not his responsibility. He knows if there's a deep one, there's probably something coming underneath. It's Clercius. So he waits on him, lines him up, puts that helmet between the 8 and the 6.
Benjamin takes this kick just inside the 20, and he's tripped up. For more on Jalen Philpott, let's send it back down to Chantel Chan.
Yeah, so Jalen Philpott has been on an absolute tear as of late, and he really attributes it to just the experience that he's gotten. He said when he first came into the league, he felt like he wasn't able to read coverages, but he knew at one point it would come, and that's exactly what his brother Tyson said to him as well. He said, don't worry about it, it will come to you. Jalen said the biggest difference right now is his confidence. He knows he can make big plays and score touchdowns in this league. Guys?
Ton of potential still there with Philpott. 1st and 10 from the 26. Adams dumps it off. And Mills pushes it ahead.
Well, I mentioned the good start to the season. I mean, week 2, targeted 8 times, 6 catches, and 117 yards. It's a nice 40-yarder. You know, and he and his brother Tyson are competitive as well. So it's probably been driving him crazy. In fact, we know it's been driving him crazy that Tyson's been just lighting it up over there in Montreal. And Jalen has gone through the injuries. He had the hamstring in 23, came back in 24, was just trying to find his way, as Chantel mentioned, and now feels much more confident.
Bought his first cowboy hat this week as well. Hands it off. Mills pushing ahead. And Dedrick Mills so far in this game has been a hard-working man.
The other thing you can do with Jalen Philpott, if you're Coach Dickinson and the offensive staff here, is get him on those fly sweeps. His brother Tyson does that as well, and those just a running play to take it wide. When you get Dedrick Mills working between the tackles, you've got a mobile quarterback that's going to freeze the ends, and then you can run the fly sweep to Jalen Philpott.
Another first down for Calgary. They're going to be 6 wide here, 3 left, 3 right. He'll throw to his right, and that is caught by Brooks, his 2nd catch of the ball game, as the Stampeders continue to move the ball.
Vernon Adams is comfortable right now against a very good defense. Defense ranked 3rd against the run coming in after 3 games. Defense that was in the top 3 in the giveaway takeaway category coming into this one.
Winnipeg's defense allows 19 points per game. They've given up 22 so far in this one. Adams got him down the field. He's got him, and he's wide open. It's Philpott trying to cut it inside of the 20. Made a move. Another one. He's still going all the way down to the 5, and he's tripped up just short. That would have been spectacular. Philpott that close to a house call. Calgary's offense explodes again. 66 yards for number 85, and they're knocking on the door.
We have a monster halftime coming up, and if you thought the Stampede Bowl was fun, you got to get in with the fans here at the corral. These guys were losing their mind after the last play. VA's been fantastic, and Enoch raced the cow. It's all coming up at half.
Of course, Lapo's not there because he's still eating the taco in a bag. But Caden Enoch down there in the corral. Calgary looking to find the end zone again and blow this thing wide open. First and goal from the 2. Adams gets it away, and that's broken up. Big play by Evan Holm, denying Philpott of the touchdown.
Yeah, the Bombers really got to dig in here and try to hold Calgary to just a field goal attempt, and Evan Holm gets them started with a real nice knockdown and good timing. That left hand, by the way, on the back of Philpott didn't turn the receiver. You're allowed to leave it there. It's allowed to be touching the back of the receiver. You just can't twist him or turn him. Holm did a nice job not to pull or get the penalty flag.
Another crack at it for the home side. Second and goal from the Bomber 2. Adams hands it off. Mills up the middle. Touchdown Calgary. His 5th rushing touchdown of the season. And this is a stunner at McMahon as Calgary blows it wide open.
Good low leverage by that offensive line. Deep handoff from Vernon Adams. You know, the downside of the deep handoff is that if there's penetration from the D-line, it can stop that run. But the upside is it gives the tailback a chance to have a second to pick his hole.
Paredes out for another. And Calgary leads 29-3. A 6-play, 84-yard drive. And safe to say, here at the Stampede Bowl, Calgary is hotter than a hoochie coochie.
5 rushing touchdowns for Dedrick Mills, I should say. Now you got me going.
Early season fantasy stud, Dedrick Mills. Must start in your lineup with what he's done so far. That was set up, though.
Yeah, by Jalen Philpott on this deep ball. Again, real comfort level from Vernon Adams, but for that one time he got rolled in on the opening series. He has sat in that pocket with lots of time to throw in a throwing lane to get it out of there, including deep crossing routes from one side of the formation to the other. That deep route by Jalen Philpott.
I swear. She's making me work for it. The first one?
Just over 2 minutes left to go. Can Winnipeg put some points on the board before halftime and cut into a 26-point lead?
Zach Collaros has time to do it. 2:08 left. There's time, and you know there's going to be a sense of urgency.
Well, Winnipeg had a great first drive.
Yep.
Settled for a field goal and have not really moved the ball at all since. Gave up a pick 6 and have not really gained much consistently the rest of the half.
Well, that first drive was a big Brady Oliveira drive, and the Stamps stopped them down inside the 20 and held them to a field goal. Since then, they shut the door.
And nothing really down the field from Collaros just yet. Dumps this off. Brady Oliveira hauls it in, and is tackled just outside the 35. Jacob Roberts trips him up.
Oliveira right here. Roberts right here. There's your matchup. Looks like sort of a zone drop for Roberts, and then he sees the screen, reads the play. The screen indicator are those 2 offensive linemen out in front of Brady Oliveira. Nice close by Jacob Roberts.
Second and 4. Collaros, there's a shot downfield, looking for Schoen, and he misses him over his head. Incomplete. 2 and out. Winnipeg again.
Looked like Micah Tights off the edge, or it may have been Clarence Hicks. That's Clarence Hicks coming off the edge, and he is just enough to distract Zach Collaros on this throw. Just a redirect that was enough, so he threw it over that rush and just missed Dalton Schoen. Here he comes here, little redirect, and then right to Zach Collaros, and because Collaros doesn't miss that throw.
Low snap, low kick. Jamison Sheen, that's going to bounce. Benjamin takes it on the run. 54-yard kick, short return, multiple flags with 90 seconds remaining in the opening half.
Time for points for Calgary.
Does Calgary do more damage here?
There's a minute 30 is a long time in Canadian football. And the protection that Vernon Adams has seen in this first
During
half.
the return, illegal block, Calgary number 77. We'll go back 10 yards. It's going to be first down for Calgary.
Well, that makes it a little more difficult, but
Vernon Adams' first half is 9 of 12 for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is 4-3 in his career versus Winnipeg. So he's one of the few quarterbacks over the last few years that has found a way to have some success against the Bombers. And he's having a lot of it so far here today. He's on the verge of a 200-yard half. Not passing here. They'll hand it off to Mills, who's done a lot of damage himself. He's stopped just shy of the 20.
you mentioned his 4-3 record. He also has his best game passing against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It was back in 2019. Now, the Bombers end up winning the Grey Cup that year, but he threw for 488 yards in the game and 4 touchdowns.
Fixes the shoelace, settles back in, shotgun, 2nd and 4. Throwing, one hand on it, Tevin Jones, but could not haul it in. That's 3rd down, and Calgary forced to punt it away with 64 seconds remaining in the half. It's their second 2-and-out of the ball game. Winnipeg's punted 3 possessions in a row.
Now, if I'm Mike Miller, the special teams coach for the Bombers, I might just go with a full-out block the punt rush here. Rally back to a return. Looks like Calgary's ready for something like that. They're trying to make sure they have the protection correct.
Lassett gets it away, hangs high. Vavel takes it at the 51, kicks it to the outside and back down inside the 50, but another flag on the play.
I got it. Go ahead.
O'Shea will be looking for answers and adjustments at halftime.
The formulas for success for the Bombers has been be the lowest penalized team in the league, and they have been for 4 straight years. They were again coming into this one, and win the turnover battle. They're a +4 coming into this game. Again, that's in the top 3 in the league coming in. You know, you win those 2 categories, you have a really good chance to win because you're not beating yourself. You win the turnover battle, you don't take a lot of penalties. They have 5 penalties in this first half, the Bombers. And coming into this game, we're averaging 5.3 per game. This is their 5th penalty against in this first half.
During the return, there were 2 holding penalties against Winnipeg. The first one is against number 46. That occurred while the ball was in flight. We're going to apply that penalty. We're going to go back 10 from where the ball was caught. The second holding penalty is a by rule decline. First down for Winnipeg.
So unofficially 6 penalties, officially counted 5 penalties.
CFL returns tomorrow with Friday Night Football as the Ticats take on the Argos. Catch all the action at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. I would like to also point out, wonderfully explained by Ben Major.
Yes, he's really good at that.
So back on their 42. Can they find some points in the next 53 seconds? Kolaris, far side, and that is incomplete. Was looking for Carrick Wheatfall. That's his first target of this ball game, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
The flags in the corners look pretty dead as far as wind goes, but we saw with some of the kicks, it looked like there was some wind down there, so tough to tell, but it really looked like some kind of a swirling wind affected that last throw from Kolaris.
6 for 11 on second down this evening. Claris, time in the pocket, finds Schoen in the flat. He turns it up, and that's a first down Winnipeg with 41 seconds on the clock. 13 yards to Schoen, who found just enough room on that far sideline.
About 2 first downs away from a field goal attempt to end the half here.
Castillo has one from 55 already this year. Of course, hit from 60 last year twice. Which doesn't sound real, but it is. First and 10 midfield. And that one, once again, into the reliable hands of Dalton Schoen. Takes it just outside the 40, and they would be within a field goal attempt here with 36 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Dalton Schoen got up limping after that catch as well. Good recognition for Claris against his own. Stamps don't want to give up the big one.
Moving quickly now, near side, that is caught. It was close. Clercius, though, has it, and they're down to the 31.
Roman Empire Clercius makes another catch, and this time it's real concentration to pull it in because he has a defender in front of him that's distracting him. Rips this down and then has the presence of mind to get to the sideline, get out of bounds. Stop the clock.
That was Adrian Green, who already has 2 interceptions on the season. That one would have been going the other way. From the 31, Claris near side, Clercius again, and he's out of bounds with 21 on the clock. That's his 5th catch of the half.
You know, Stamps are going to play off. They don't want to give up the one throw touchdown, but they're allowing a lot of space. There's more room for Clercius underneath.
Winnipeg, 2nd and inches. Claris within field goal range, but would love a touchdown. Kind of salvaged the half a little bit. That's complete to the 15. Wheatfall's first catch of the ball game. Tackle made by Tights. What can you do in 16 seconds, Suits? Clock ticks. Claris looking end zone, far corner, Schoen out of bounds. Green made sure he could not come down and inbounds with the ball. 7 seconds on the clock.
Now you're in that bubble area if you're Coach O'Shea and Zach Claris trying to decide that's out of bounds. And you're trying to decide, do we have time for one more shot and then a field goal? Don't want to give up a chance for some points before the end of the half. Risk it and try for one more shot.
They think they do have enough time. 7 seconds on the clock.
Although down by the score they're down by, maybe they're going to go for it anyway.
Claris from the Calgary 13. Looking for something in the end zone. He's going to take off. Now he throws it too high, incomplete. Was on the run looking for Wheatfall. 1 second left on the clock. And now Castillo will trot out onto the field to get some points out of this.
Yeah, I'm not giving Zach Claris an alibi here because he overthrows this, but because he had a touchdown if he hits his receiver. But he knew how much time he had left. And he got it down to 1 second, had to get rid of it or else they lose a chance. If he doesn't make that or he gets tackled there, they don't get a field goal either. They don't get any points out of it. So he rushed that a little bit, overthrew the intended target.
I thought he was going to try to run in another 13-yard touchdown there. Castillo puts it up, and it's through, and it's 29-6 at the half in favor of the Calgary Stampeders. But Suits, write this down. Take a little note. There's a lot of football left in this game.
We're here for a good time, buddy. We're here for a good time.
Damien Alford, he'll be around for a long time. I can guarantee that. First overall pick, first touchdown in the league. He stands by with Chantel.
Damien, you've got your first touchdown ever in the CFL. Tell me what you saw on that play and how good does that one feel?
I just seen green grass, and I seen VA release out of his hand. It was going my direction, and after I caught the ball, I just seen the end zone, and that's exactly where I was going to go, so it felt good.
This offense is rolling right now, big lead heading into the second half. How do you continue to put your foot on the gas to make sure that you don't lose that lead?
We just got to continue doing what we were doing in the first half, continue playing our style of football, and you see the receivers are making big plays from me to the older guys. We just got to continue doing what we're doing, and we'll be fine.
Congrats, and good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Second half of the Stampede Bowl is on the way. Calgary in full control, 29-6. What jumps off the page outside of the score, obviously?
Well, Vernon Adams, 193 yards passing in that first half, avoided the interception, had 2 touchdowns, no picks, but Zach Collaros got a drive going right late in that first half. Clercius was his #1 target.
Yeah, Clercius had an absolutely outstanding half for the Bombers. 5 catches. That's a new career game high for Clercius. He ended up 5 catches for 38 yards, and he's standing by with our own Chantel Chan.
Kevin, you guys were able to put together a pretty successful drive just before the end of the first half. What did that kind of do for you guys in terms of momentum?
I mean, you know, like, that's the type of thing that we've been working in practice, you know, and, you know, like, just making the plays, you know, and just, like, give a boost to the team and just make plays and just make us, like, gain yards and, like, be able to, like, score points at the end. So, you know, it's normal for us because we've been working for it, so, you know.
What did Coach say to you guys in the locker room?
You know, just keep playing. Just keep playing. It's never over, you know, like, football is a 4-quarter, like, believe, like, just believe, make the play when it comes to you, score points, stop the defense, stop the offense, and just score, you know.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, so we have an entire second half to play here. Suits, both aspects of the game are dominated by Cal. What adjustment do you think the Bombers need to make? Is it their defense needs to do a better job, or is it Winnipeg's offense that needs to get going?
Yeah, and that starts with him in Brady Oliveira. Get that offense going. But, I think you're onto something, and Coach LaPolice said it at halftime. I think Michael O'Shea's group is going to have to create a turnover or 2. Get a half-field look at it and get Zach a couple of extra possessions because of those turnovers. And it's up to Vernon Adams, Dedrick Mills to avoid the turnover and keep that time of possession edge.
Babel and Peterson are back to return this kick. It will be Winnipeg that gets the ball to start the second half. Their first drive of the ball game was the best one that they've had so far. They'll look to duplicate it here. Paredes gets us going. Babel takes it just inside the 15. Back to the 30. And tackle is made cleanly by Kyle Wilson. Let's take a look at Zach's first half. 14-19, 109, and that pick 6.
Yeah, and that was deep in his own end, so it was about 30 yards that Damon Webb had to travel to take that to the end zone. Real nice disguise by Webb, the safety spot.
Third career interception for a touchdown for Webb. Collaros near side. He's got Clercius again. Tackle made cleanly by Adrian Green. 5-yard pickup on first down.
So right back to his leading receiver from the first half, and Kevin's Clercius. Roman Emperor Clercius, I like to call him. He has that name.
Is that his? That's his?
No, I'm giving it to him.
Oh, okay.
Roman Emperor Clercius.
Put it on a T-shirt in Winnipeg.
Marcus Aurelius.
Clercius. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I like the movie. Not the second one as much. Here's Dembski. Great tackle. Close to a first down. Looks like it will be enough.
And here's the other thing, with Nick Dembski, who they can activate at any time. And right now, the Calgary defense doing a pretty nice job of trying to take him away. In fact, he was the intended target on the Damon Webb pick 6. Almost like it was a bracket, like they looked to bracket him. Zach Collaros, I believe, looked like he thought Damon was going deep. and they jumped it. But they can activate and move him around and get Nick Dembski the football.
4 receivers, wide side left for Collaros. And he's trying to get it to Brady Oliveira. I think Zach was thinking about pulling it, but waited too long.
Or Oliveira grabbed it, and they were sort of struggling. This is execution that you just don't see. Like poor execution that you just don't see. Patrick Neufeld spun around. It was like he was in the backfield and didn't know why. He got pushed back and turned around, and now he's in the middle of the mix. I mean, that is just flat out poor execution, and you don't see that in Winnipeg offense very often.
Bomber-like for sure. 2nd and 12. Just 3-man pressure from the Stampeders. Collaros down the field. Oh, you don't see that very often either. Through the hands of Dalton Schoen. Would have had a first down and more, and it's been one of those nights.
Boy, right in the window, too. I mean, he is right in the window, that number 2 spot. On the throw, watch the timing, little out cut, then back into the window between the 2 defenders. Wow, you can't throw it any better. Looking down that sun line.
I was going to say, are we going to blame the sun a little bit?
Yeah, I'm giving him an alibi. He's looking right into the sun off the corner of the stadium there. You can see it.
Got to have it, though. Jamison Sheen, big kick. 60-yard kick. Benjamin goes back for it. And he's tracked down from behind just before he gets to the 30. Special teams tackle by Nick Hallett. Rhymes has extended his streak for catches in a game. Calgary on top. Well, you'll see a lot of things during Stampede Week. How about 2 guys streaking? Maybe later on in the week somewhere, but these 2 guys doing it tonight. Dembski up to 75 games, Rhymes up to 59 consecutive games with a catch. Consistency is important.
No, it's not.
1st and 10 from the Calgary 30.
There it is.
I'll hand it off once again to Mills. Handles heavy workload regularly. Probably even more so here in this half with a 23-point lead. 2-yard pickup there on his 11th carry of the night.
Yeah, you would expect that they would go to more of a run game, although they were pretty heavy run in the first half to Dedrick Mills. However, you don't want to get too conservative either. So you get a pre-snap read.
2nd and 8 for VA. Adams escapes the left, down the field, and he's got Tevin Jones for a first down, and he's working against Terrell Bonds.
Watch how in this one VA is going to have to change his arm angle to make this completion. He's gonna scramble out here a little bit to the left, just manage the pocket a little bit, not scrambling and running, but he has to change his arm angle. One of the best quarterbacks in the league at doing this. Steps outside, he's got to change the arm angle, drop it down a little bit, but still right on the money.
10 of 14 for 204 yards. Back on the ground again. And Dedrick Mills almost had enough for a first down. It'll be 2nd and short.
Great down block by Deontay Desmarais at the left tackle spot. He's going to get the down block here, and then a couple of fullbacks coming out to get the kick-out block on this run. Backside cut by Dedrick Mills. There's a nice block here. Rhymes up trying to get to the 2nd level. Philpott trying to pick up somebody.
Pushed ahead by Quincy Vaughn. Gets the job done on 2nd and short. And Calgary creeps towards midfield here. Vernon Adams, good grasp of this offense.
Lots of time
tonight.
Lots of time to throw. I mean, we haven't mentioned Willie Jefferson tonight.
I think I mentioned him once when he's trying to make a tackle on a running back, but not once when it comes to a quarterback.
Yeah, to disrupting a play, to get his hands up in the lane, to get that key knockdown on second down. I mean, right now the Calgary offensive line has neutralized that Winnipeg front four.
Front three for now with 3 on the line. Willie, the only player in league history with 75 sacks and 80 knockdowns. And they're going to run a draw. Mills stopped this time, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
I don't remember when we've gone this long without highlighting or showing a replay of Willie Jefferson causing havoc on an offense. And there's the numbers you just talked about. And when you add up the quarterback sacks and the pass knockdowns, no one is close in the league's history.
With those 2 categories combined.
Yeah.
Well, Calgary's done a good job against them so far tonight. They're going to punt it away. Bassett. Lays one in there. Babel takes it just inside the 10. Babel trying to find some space on the far side of the field, but he's tracked down. Farinaccio. Bombers down by a bunch. There's a look at your special teams leader for the Bombers. 7 special teams tackles so far this season. 2nd in the league. Had 16 each of the last 2 years. And they've done a good job on him tonight, haven't they, Ken Wallander?
Well, when you're that good on special teams, and he's been excellent, you scout for that, and then you make sure you either double team him or you have at least one on him. And this is another example of the double team. That's how difficult covering punts can be when you're as good as Cadwell. Scouting report is out. Got to shut him down.
Collaros on the run to his right down the field. He's got Dembski just outside the 40-yard line.
Now that's a type of offensive play. Get Zach Collaros outside and on the run. Change the launch point and a nice strike to Dembski. Playmaker, 18-yard gain. That's the type that can get you going offensively. Get some traction.
Longest play of the game for the offense of the Bombers. 18 to Dembski. First down again. Collaros throwing again. And it's back into the hands of Dembski. His 4th catch of the ball game.
Really impressed with this Calgary defense when you think of the changes that have been made, the young players, especially in the secondary with Sheldon Arnold and Jaden Grant playing halfbacks. I mean, you're talking about 2 rookies in those spots, basically. Damon Webb new to the Stampeders.
Out in the flat. It's Oliveira pushing it ahead. First down, Winnipeg. Yeah, this Calgary defense. We talked about Winnipeg allowing less than 20 points per game. Calgary's defense, 2nd best in the league at 21.7 points per game. And they're living up to that billing tonight.
You know, really are. And, you know, I can give a lot of credit to the leadership group. I mean, Damon Webb, knowing the league in his 5th season, and he helping to bring that secondary, that young secondary together. They're playing fast this year. That's the difference.
1st and 10 from the Calgary 52. Collaros again. It's a first down inside the 40 as he finds Jareth Stearns on the far side of the field. And, you know, a Calgary defense that's been playing very well so far, but they're not just sitting back. They've added Big Hill to the roster, a name that obviously Bombers fans are familiar with.
Yeah, the veteran Adam Big Hill not quite ready physically to play just yet, but it won't be long. They also brought in Kyle Wilson, who is dressed and playing tonight. Get some veteran present for Marquel Lee, who started the season at middle linebacker.
Back on the ground to Brady. Nice move, slips after. Comes up about a yard shy of another first down for Winnipeg.
And I asked Dave, any cheat notes, any like cheat codes from Adam Big Hill on the team you're playing this week, because if anyone knows the defense or the team and how they operate, it's Adam Bighill, knowing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But that's not why he brought him. Brought him for the leadership, brought him because he can still play. Still got some football in him, I guarantee you.
I think Dickinson told us he knows enough about Winnipeg already anyway.
Yeah.
You know, having coached against the Bombers for the last time. Strevler into the game, first time tonight. He pushes ahead for a first down, and Winnipeg, this is the best their offense has looked since the opening drive of the ball game for them. There's Adam.
Yeah, there's Biggie. And, well, Dave Dickinson called this next few games the gauntlet. I mean, he was talking about they got Winnipeg, they're at Saskatchewan, then they go back to Winnipeg, and then Montreal. He said, we'll know what kind of team we got, and Adam Bighill can help us when we're in this gauntlet that we're in now.
A series of tough tests coming up. Passing this first one so far. Collaros gets it away. Oliveira down just outside the 20. Another catch for Brady. That's his 4th of the ball game.
Yep. You know who's going to be motivated? Adam Bighill, to be ready for that game in the Peg.
July 18th.
Friday night football, and panel will be on site, and you know it'll be a jam-packed house.
It'd be weird to see him in Calgary red. Collaros on the run to his left. He's in trouble. Gets it away. And it's incomplete. And will they have to settle for another field goal attempt?
Or do they start playing 3 down right now?
They're going to stay on the field here. Oh, nope.
No, change his mind.
Change of plans. They're going to go for the field goal instead. It looked like they decided. Collaros was coming back to the huddle. But instead, they'll try to make it a 20-point game. Castillo, 2 for 2 tonight. 9 for 10 on the season. This one, a 29-yard attempt. And he puts it through. 3 more for Winnipeg, but they're down by 20. We were talking about this drop from Schoen being so rare earlier, and we sort of speculated, could it have something to do with the sun? Well, take a look at this.
Yeah, this is what the Bomber receivers are dealing with on that side of the field. That's exactly the sight line that Dalton Schoen would have had on that play. He's got the best hands, arguably the best hands in the game, and they're looking right into that sun. The ball disappears, as you could see.
Adams gets this one away quickly to Jones. Tackled from behind by Adams. Tevin Jones, that's his team high 3rd catch of the ball game.
One of the reasons that he is so dangerous is that he's thick. I mean, 225. So he can catch those little hit screens, and now he's like a running back in the open field. That's a D lineman cutting him down from behind.
Adams has spread the ball around. 7 different players with at least 1 catch today. Heavy on the line, trying to push it ahead. Got a yard, but will still be a yard short.
Decision time now for Dave Dickinson. You know, with a comfortable 20-point lead here, although in the CFL 20 points is not really comfortable. It's such a dilemma I think for coaches when you feel like I should be able to get a yard with our short yardage group. So let's just be confident and do that. But conventional wisdom says field position. You give it over to Zach right here, you almost cue the comeback.
Quincy Vaughn looking to push ahead.
I don't know.
It's close. It's close. Needed the 50. He was close. I think he was probably there.
Well, it depends on where they put the ball down, because their foot was just on that line, right where the marker is. Well, that little extra push may have got him there.
First down, Calgary. Needed everything he had to get the 50. Post not too happy. First and 10 for the Stampeders. Mills again picks his way through the defensive line, finds the second level. Rodgers eventually makes the tackle.
Power, patience, and pressing the line of scrimmage, as former great Bomber running back used to tell me, and Andrew Harris. Don't hit the line of scrimmage, press it. Nice run by Dedrick Mills there to do exactly that. Oh, Vernon Adams out there at receiver. Short yardage.
Quincy Vaughn does it again, and he's got another Calgary first down. Notice that a couple times in short yardage. VA just stays out on the field.
Depending on how many pages deep you go into the Dave Dickinson Pat Delmonico playbook, I wonder if there's a throw off of that to the quarterback if he's left uncovered out there.
Ball onto the Bombers side of the field. Calgary, 20-point cushion, final play of the third quarter. VA finds Tevin Jones. Broke one tackle and pushes it up to the 45.
See what I mean? He's a big boy.
Stampeders looking to keep the Stampede Bowl right here in Calgary. Find themselves in good position, leading 29-9 through 3. Calgary with a convincing 29-9 lead on the Bombers through 3 quarters. And Suchi, look at those stats right there, and it's pretty balanced attack from Calgary tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Dedrick Mills looking at a 100-yard game, but 216 yards passing for Vernon Adams. And it's an interesting stat we looked at when we were coming into this one tonight. He's 23-7 when he throws for 275 or more. And he's certainly on that pace. I think their protection up front's been excellent for Vernon Adams tonight, giving him lots of time and some nice throwing lanes. He's spread the ball around, and that's what's on the line for the first time ever, the Stampede Bowl.
15 minutes away from crowning a Stampede Bowl champion. Calgary in the driver's seat. Lots of pressure here from Winnipeg. VA gets it away, but it's incomplete on second down. And Calgary be forced to kick it away. Another look at what we were saying about VA.
Yeah, that's quite the win-loss record when you throw for 275. Very close to that. And the way he likes to sling it down the field, although he is looking at a 20-point lead that he wants to be smart about. Make sure he doesn't get careless and turn the ball over.
Mark Vassett playing in his first CFL game. Takes it his own 50 and gets it away. Vavel watches it bounce and will take a knee in the end zone, and the lead goes to 21. Here's a look at your active leaders around the Canadian Football League. Of course, Reggie Begelton injured right now on the 6th game for Calgary. Dembski just a few hundred yards behind him.
And they're going to need Dembski in this final quarter to and anywhere near coming back down by 21 here. There's Reggie Begelton.
Dembski 4 catches for 41 yards so far in this one. Claris gets it away quickly. And of course, it is Nick Dembski.
But they're having to earn it against this Calgary defense tonight. When you think about that opening drive, looked really good for the Bombers. They were down 7 at the time, but were held to a field goal at the end.
Kolaris throwing again, and that's Wheatfall. He's got it up to midfield. We've not really seen anything connect deep, right? Their longest completion was 18, and that was to, I think it was Dembski. It was Dembski, and it was a lot of after the catch.
Combination route just to get a little pick on that inside route so that the outside receiver can make the catch.
Kolaris again, far side. Clercius has it. He had that last one as well. That was my mistake. It was not Wheatfall. It was Clercius. He's now caught 8 in this ball game. He's got 8 targets, 8 catches. This is the best game of his career.
This young Calgary secondary, though, are just sort of allowing these underneath throws. Everything in front.
Kolaris looking to throw again. Far side, intercepted. It's taken away by Moncrief. This is a dagger. Can you believe it? Pick 6 the other way. Second of the game for the Calgary defense. Not a flag in sight. And Calgary stampeding their way to a victory here against Winnipeg.
2 pick sixes. Turnover battle favoring the Calgary Stampeders. And I was just explaining how they were allowing these underneath throws. Well, you let that happen. You let that happen until you don't, until you drum it. And that's exactly what Moncrief, the veteran, a 70-yard pick 6 for Derek Moncrief. And that ball goes right in the trophy case. But allow those underneath throws until the quarterback gets overconfident in them, and then jump one.
2 pick sixes thrown by Zach Kolaris in this game. First it was Webb. This time it's Moncrief. It's a blowout.
So Derek Moncrief is the veteran. There's Derek Moncrief right here. And Zach Kolaris has been working that sideline on those quick throws. Moncrief knows it. He's going to give up that inside curl hook route. He just blows right by that and is gone on a 70-yard pick 6. That's a veteran savvy, allowing a quarterback to think he's got that easy outside throw again and then jumping.
Manny Moncrief, Cassia, Dolly, Mama, Daddy, everybody, Prattville, I love you. Peace. I'm out of here.
Don't blink.
Tough night for Kolaris. So this game, we're talking about who beats the Bombers like this. And I thought, well, it reminds me of a game against BC.
Okay.
Went and looked it up. Week 3, 30-6, 2023. Week 3, 30-6, BC in Winnipeg. You know who the quarterback of the Lions was? Vernon Adams. So you don't see this happen to the Bombers very often, but VA did it 2 years ago. 2 touchdowns in that game, 237 yards. And his defense is helping him big time tonight.
Well, that's the thing. As much as we really appreciated the play of Vernon Adams, and he has played very well. 2 pick sixes, huge. One by Damon Webb early in this game to give the Stamps the 2-possession lead early on. I mean, that really set the tone. The first drive of the game when Winnipeg went all the way down inside the 20 but were held to a field goal, that was the next series, or 2 series later, pick 6.
Kolaris in trouble, has to heave one far side. Dembski waiting. Green is there immediately, and they really don't get anything off of it.
But Vernon Adams is going to improve to 4-3 against Winnipeg. We can go through all the quarterbacks in the league and look at their win-loss record against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the last few years, and there's not many that have a winning record. And if he wins this one, it's 5-3.
Yeah, it's going to be 5-3 when he wins this out. It would be an amazing comeback.
Yeah. You're going to give him, are you giving him the win at 12 minutes?
It's a CFL. There's 12 minutes left. We'll see where it goes, but I'll say that they're a heavy favorite right now. There's a flag down the field. That one batted away.
There might be some illegal contact here. Sure. I know that one of the targets for Zach Collaros got in a collision.
It's just
illegal contact on the receiver. Calgary, number 21. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's going to make it a first down for Winnipeg.
It's just the third penalty of the game on the Stampeders. They're kind of out-bombering the Bombers.
That's
what's
Absolutely.
happening.
Yeah. They win the plus-minus. They win the giveaway, takeaway. The Bombers, they have the fewest penalties. They don't have that tonight either.
Oh, and we've got a challenge flag being thrown. Dave Dickinson is not happy. He's got a 28-point lead, and he's furious.
It is a series, bro.
I think Ben Major just wants to know if he's going to challenge. He's trying to cut to the chase there. He's like, okay, I hear ya, but do you want to challenge this or not?
Yada, yada, yada. Are you going to challenge?
No, I mentioned the soup. What a great night, though, for this first inaugural event. And good on the Calgary Stampeders. And I know for years and years they avoided the Stampede to sort of let the greatest show on earth happen on its own. But when you think about it, and all these people traveling in from across the country for the Calgary Stampede, and now you can add, oh, by the way, we can go to a football game to kick it all off the night before. One of the great tailgate stadiums in the entire country. Cowboy hats everywhere. You bought yours.
Yeah, you had one.
I traveled mine in.
I bought one. I'll save it next year.
Calgary wanted to challenge the last play. However, illegal contact is not a challengeable penalty. Therefore, they lose their challenge and they lose one team timeout. It's first down for Winnipeg.
Well, that backfired a bit. Still leading.
Well, and Coach Dickinson could have got a delay of game penalty as well there. Ben Major decided not to give him that one.
Well, and now another stoppage right before that ball was snapped. And I think we're going to
reset the play here. We're going to reset the play.
Reset the play and probably the time clock.
Now they'll blow it back in. Collaros, 25 and 33 for 200 yards, but 2 interceptions that went the other way. Throwing again, looking for Schoen. Arnold jumped that one, didn't he?
Good play on defense. Well, let's go back and, Dave Dickinson was beside himself angry with this contact here. There's Devine Scott. He's going outside with that straight-on hit. So, it's hard to tell exactly where they were in relation to the line of scrimmage, but if that was past 5 yards, that is illegal contact. Dickinson, I guess, thought it was inside of 5.
Get it to Oliveira. But even a couple of blocks, kicks it to the outside, takes it up to the 45, and then he's drilled out of bounds.
But even then, even then, to be at the 5-yard mark or right at the line of scrimmage, even, I would suggest that might have been a penalty anyway. So, not sure why Dave Dickinson was that angry. We'll have to talk to him next time we Zoom about that one.
Yeah, something to say. That's their biggest offensive play of the game there, 20 yards to Brady Oliveira.
Calgary D's making him earn it, no question.
Collaros near side, and that is caught. Stearns gets out of bounds, moves it up on the Calgary side of the field.
But look at this group. I mean, Tyler Richardson is in year 3. But in his first year, basically practice roster guy on the corner at 35. He's the guy who just made the hit on that long out. Now they're going to play off now. They've got the big lead. Look at how much room they're just by alignment from the line of scrimmage. So there's going to be underneath stuff available.
Collaros gets it away again. It's shown this time. He's got another first down. Right around the 40.
But I mentioned out of Central Florida, Sheldon Arnold. And this is not only a rookie, because a lot of the rookies in the CFL are often 28, 27 years old because they've gone through journeys of NFL tryouts, things like that. You know, but these are young guys, and Sheldon Arnold is 23 years old. Jaden Grant, he's one of those 27-year-old rookies at the other halfback.
Throws it at the feet of his running back.
Adrian Green has some experience. Played with BC. He's his 4th year in the CFL. And he's got the 2 picks on the outside. But brand new to this system and brand new to Calgary. And then you throw in Damon Webb, again, the free agent, to pull it all together from the safety spot. I think this secondary is much improved. And when we asked Dave Dickinson this week about it, and said, you know, you've got a lot of young guys, new faces on your team, and he goes, don't even remind me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you never know, because they have to learn the game and the nuance and all that. But this defense is playing great.
11 rookies on this team, and that one almost intercepted. Uh-oh. Slow to get up. Dalton Schoen, but he seems to be okay.
Chance to pad the stats with the big lead here. It's Tyler Richardson, I believe, going up with Jaden Grant.
That's it. Schoen did end up going down before he walked over the sideline, but he was not hit here. Just sort of went down, non-contact injury. Let's see. Schoen seems to be okay. We'll be back. The UEFA Women's Euro continues tomorrow as Denmark plays Sweden at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And that'll be followed by Germany versus Poland at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Catch all of the action, UEFA Women's Euro on TSN. 3rd and 10, Bombers will be going. Collaros bouncing around in the pocket, on the run, out to his right. Can he find anybody? Far side, incomplete. Looking for Clercius again. That is the first ball thrown in his direction that it did not haul in tonight. And it was Tights with the coverage.
Yeah, Micah Tights was the reason he wasn't able to haul that one in. Step for step with the receiver, who picks up a little block on the outside and a chip almost, and then gets out there and turns when Zach Collaros rolls out. Linebacker stays right with him. There's 42 running right in his hip pocket. Ball's in the air. He sees the hands go up, goes through the hands, and doesn't allow Clercius to get there.
Got to give that Calgary defense credit. That was the best option. Zach saw everybody else was covered very tightly. Now Mills spinning it ahead. Almost broke that one. He's over 90 yards in the game.
Number 7,
Working his way towards maybe his 8th career 100-yard game.
Right back to him. 2nd and short.
Quincy Vaughn in, pushes it straight ahead, and that one was easy. He's got the first down, takes it outside the 50.
So Dedrick Mills in game 1 against Hamilton, 17 carries, 94 yards, so just shy of his 100 yards there. And then the Toronto game, that was the weird one where Toronto did a nice job stopping him. There was about 28 yards rushing there in that one on 13 carries. And then it had 96 against Ottawa in the rain game and pushing that 100-yard mark again. So take the Toronto game out of there, consistent in the other three at over 90 yards.
Gets it again, runs into some heavy traffic, and is taken down by Tony Jones.
It's tough for coaches, I think, to try to not emphasize one game is more important than another game. It's a game in the regular season, because if you keep doing that, then you run out of ways to emphasize it. And then you get down the line and you go, well, now what do I say now when we really need the game?
Yeah.
But this is an important game.
I was going to say, is there a
but? There is a but there, because this is an important test for the Calgary Stampeders, which they've passed with flying colors here.
They'll get it out to Philpott. Philpott has the ball pop out, and it's going to be scooped up by Jamal Parker. Pretty much everything has gone right for Calgary tonight. Not that time. Winnipeg catches a break late here. Ball pops away from Philpott. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Calgary in full control, and I want to flash it back to 2019, almost the passing of a torch, sort of, as the Bombers take out Calgary and have gone to 5 straight Grey Cups since.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders were I don't want to use the word, but I will, dynasty leading up to that. Great success they had from Huffnagel to Dave Dickinson. And that was the turning point where Winnipeg sort of took that torch, as you mentioned, and they've become the big dog on the porch since then. That they won that year in 2019, and ever since then, they're the best team in the West Division.
Calgary had gone to 4 of the 5 Grey Cups prior to that. Since then, it's been all Winnipeg. They also saw the Stampede Bowl in the house there, getting the white glove treatment.
I like it. I love it. Want some more of it.
Kolaris remains in the game. How much longer do you leave him in here, Suits? It's kind of a done deal. Protect against injury. You never know what happens, right?
I'm always...
This one's over.
I'm always for protecting the quarterback when you can.
Kolaris steps up. Now he's going to take off. Gets a slide. And a first down.
13-yard touchdown run last week for Zach Kolaris.
He said it's not going to become a regular thing.
No.
I chatted with him this week. It was only his 3rd since 2016. Had a couple back in 2022, I believe. Just over 5 to play. Kolaris throwing again. On the run. And just has to throw it away with pressure in his face.
But I think about this game, though, and you wonder if sort of headlines and the 3-0 start and coming off a great win against Edmonton where he threw for 334 yards, and you wonder, does that kind of thinking you start to take for granted that you have to go out and earn it every week, and sometimes a loss gives you that reminder. I don't think that's the case with this team, though. The way they're coached and their culture, the Calgary Stampeders earned it tonight. They made some very good defensive plays, 2 pick sixes that were defensive plays, not necessarily even mistakes by the quarterback.
Kolaris goes to Brady, and Oliveira tackled quickly by Moncrief again.
Now you can always say, well, the quarterback made the wrong read, or the throw was to the wrong guy. Yeah, okay, but they do that sometimes, well, quite often, as a matter of fact, and get away with it. But those were two outstanding defensive plays where they were baited, where Zach Collaros was baited to make those throws. He did. They jumped him, took him back to the house. So full credit to the Calgary defense. They just earned it from all three phases tonight.
Everybody clears out. Collaros far side. Drops it into Dembski. Tiptoes along the line. Has a first down for Winnipeg. Dembski's 7th catch of the ballgame.
For the Bombers, they go back and say, okay, we now know what Calgary has. We play them again. The Bombers go on a bye after this game. So lots of time, although it's not that much fun to go on a bye week when you've lost, but they have a lot of time to do a lot of self-scouting and see exactly what happened here tonight and how they can improve on it.
And coming off the bye, they get Calgary. Here's Collaros, dumps it off, and that is hauled in. Joey Kokorin with his first catch in the Canadian Football League out of New Hampshire.
One of the messages for Mike O'Shea will probably be as he walks in, like there's not many teams go 18-0. So this is not something that you know, just let it go break down the game film, look at where the mistakes were made, and then get prepared, have that long extra prep time to get ready for the same team again. And that'll be over in a different house where the crowd noise becomes a real factor in the Bombers' favor.
Third trip to the red zone tonight for Winnipeg. No touchdowns to speak of yet. Dembski inside the 5. It's Dembski's 8th catch of the game. Clercius has 9.
By the way, these two teams play 3 times this year, so points for and against won't factor into that.
They play 3 times in the next 5 weeks. Welcome back to a Thursday night football as we kick off week 5 here in Calgary. Friday night football will take you to Toronto for the Ticats and Argos. Great rivalry game. BC with Nathan Rourke back in the fold heads to Montreal. No Davis Alexander there, and then up to Edmonton on Sunday for Ottawa and the Elks. Bobbled here, high snap. Eventually got control of it. Gave it to Brady Oliveira, but nowhere to go.
Just shot in the gaps here, the defensive line, and caught Brady Oliveira in the backfield. A bit of a high shotgun snap, but look at that. That's Moncrief again. Enoch was talking about the linebackers for Calgary, talking about Jacob Roberts. I'll add Derek Moncrief to that list of outstanding performances tonight.
5 tackles and a pick 6 for the 32-year-old Moncrief. Stops in Edmonton and Saskatchewan, and now here in Calgary. Collaros on the run to his right. Far side. Stearns is going to say he had it, and they're going to rule it a touchdown for Winnipeg. His first as a Bomber.
Collaros gives him a chance over the shoulder. That's a great catch. Damon Webb's hand and arm is right through there, and he squeezes it with 2 hands. You don't necessarily have to put it under your arm to make it a clean catch. You can just keep it in your hands. I don't think that ball ever touched the turf. What a catch.
Wow. Caught the ball, had Webb's arm in there as well.
But you see the reaction of the Calgary defense there? I think that's something that Dave Dickinson is going to love. First of all, on first down, they jammed the run. and catch Brady Oliveira in the backfield. Then Damon Webb battles like it's 0-0 in the first series of the game to try and force the incompletion. They're making him earn everything. It's almost like Winnipeg 3-0 coming in. Zach coming off a good game, and the Stamp said that doesn't impress me much.
It's an 11-play, 62-yard drive, just over 4 minutes. But let's give this catch a little bit more love here. This is as contested as you can get.
Just pushed to the flat. Still battling this Calgary defense despite the big lead. But what a catch by Stearns. That's a highlight reel catch, even though they're not going to get the 2 points and the W tonight. What a great catch that was. By the way, she's playing on Saturday at the Saddle.
Yeah, Shania. She's the parade marshal who to kick off the Stampede parade tomorrow morning.
Who, by the way, has been the halftime performer in 2 Grey Cups, 2002, I believe. 2001? Was it 2001? Okay,
I looked it up
2017.
Today. Boom, got it.
Okay. That was the great one in Ottawa. Snow falling down. She comes in the bobsled or whatever it was.
Yeah, the snowmobiles doing flips and stuff. Yeah, there's the 90th Grey Cup in 01, and then the 105th in 2017 for Shania, who's parade marshal tomorrow to kick official. This is kind of kicking off Stampede tonight. And then the parade tomorrow morning. All right, we've seen the last of Vernon Adams. P.J. Walker into the game. Was with Seattle in 2024.
No flag on the previous play. The Winnipeg player was pushed out of bounds. Therefore, he's allowed to come back in and participate. No flag. It's first down for Calgary.
So P.J. Walker, Seattle last year, stops in Indy, Carolina, Chicago, Cleveland, was on the practice roster for the final 3 weeks of last season, kind of getting a feel for what Calgary was like.
Thought he played well in the preseason game against the Lions over on Vancouver Island this year.
Stay on the ground here. Also, Eno Benjamin into the game at running back. So Dedrick Mills done for the night. He finishes with 93 yards.
Great night for Vernon Adams, who was real excited to face this challenge and the Winnipeg defense when we talked to him this week. 13 of 18. Didn't get to that 275 mark, but he'll take it, and avoided the interception. You know, sometimes we call big play VA. When you throw it deep and you push the ball like he does, there's a higher percentage chance that it can get intercepted. They're lower percentage throws, the deep throws. So they kind of go together no matter who the quarterback is. Sometimes as a coach, I think in Dave Dickinson, you got to sort of take that it might happen a little bit if he keeps pushing the ball, but you make the big plays as well, and we've seen a bunch tonight again, starting with Clark Barnes out of the gate.
We did not see Clark Barnes back in the game after that touchdown. Rolled his ankle on his way to the end zone. Quick 2-and-out here late for Calgary. Bassett stands on his own 21. Vavel waits on his 21. Some rain, bit of a storm late afternoon. Ended up being a pretty good evening for the Stampede Bowl. 62-yard kick. Vavel takes it back up to the Winnipeg 34.
Vavel's going to get one. Let's take a look at who Chris Trevor will take the last series, and good idea. It probably should have happened a little earlier with the score what it's at, and with this that Zach Collaros has gone through tonight. Going to the ground a few times, hit pretty good a few times.
Well, that Calgary defensive line, Clarence Hicks, Jalen Hutchins, and Arimolade, all three of them in the top 10 in the league in quarterback pressures so far this season. And they were doing it again tonight. That's Charles Wiley that time. And a long night for Zach Collaros. Tightens things up in the West nicely, though, as Calgary will improve to 3-1. Winnipeg falls to 3-1. The Riders on a bye sit at a perfect 4-0, and things at the top of the West early in the season somewhat intriguing.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Third down.
And Calgary goes and faces the 4-0 Saskatchewan Roughriders, who are on the bye this weekend. Now are we having any fun yet?
That's exciting. That's next Friday, right?
That's next Friday.
We're there on Friday. Yeah. That is exciting. Well, imagine if they go into Riderville and hand them a loss, and we're stamped to be 4-1.
Upon assistance from the replay official, the previous plays ruled a catch. It's a catch. Winnipeg does not have to use a challenge to make the changes play. We're ruling a catch. It's going to be third down.
So I get a couple looks at it. Let's take another look at it for you at home. Nice catch by Stearns.
Yep. That's a couple now. One for a touchdown.
Third and 2. Peterson picks up the first down.
How about Strevler on that play? We got to just show that play one more time. I know it was a run up the middle in a lopsided game, but Strevler on this play goes up and hits a D lineman after he handed the ball off.
Just looking for a piece, eh? Strevler gets it away quickly to Dembski. And that's Dembski's 9th catch of the ball game. He and Clercius both with 9 tonight.
Was this the play? Oh, this was the Stearns catch. It was the handoff right after that on first down where he just ran off, and I think it was a Remolade.
Strevler gets it to Peterson, and he's close to a first down here for Winnipeg late. Bombers have learned a little bit about Peterson early in the season, with Brady Oliveira being unavailable for a few weeks. Peterson, in his time as the #1 running back, averaged 5.2 yards per carry on 46 touches. Had a touchdown as well.
Had that 130-yard game when Brady Oliveira went out.
First game, yeah. You said it, and we're going to have some fun after the game here with the presentation of the Stampede Bowl. I think the game MVP gets a belt buckle as well. I don't know if it'll be as impressive as the one you're wearing tonight, but it should still be, it'll be a lot of fun. But I think this has been a stunning success.
Oh, yeah.
Even Calgary winning and rolling over them certainly helped the crowd, but it was a great crowd tonight. A lot of buzz around the city. Players bought in, and I look forward to Stampede Bowl 2026.
Well, and there were Bomber fans here. I saw a lot of blue and white out there in the stands, and they were also getting into it with the cowboy hats, because this is the beauty of it. Like, if it's the same two teams next year, they come in and now people start to plan, like, let's go for a couple of days at the Stampede. We'll start with our team playing the rematch, trying to get that trophy back, or not back, but get it next year. But there were quite a few Bomber fans out there too, but they had a great crowd and great atmosphere and kickoff Stampede. Well, have you ever seen the ladies in the barrel racing?
Yeah, they're incredible.
Like,
you're blown away by barrel racing, eh?
I've been to Stampede a few times, and the parts I remember.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Were the barrel racing, and man, do they go.
Those horses look like they're about to fall over.
Like they're leaning around those.
Shout out to my teammate.
Anyway, there's quick six. That was great with
Slow Rouge.
With Slow Rouge and Kate. And by the way, Kate, every rose does have its thorns. You have a couple around you down there on the panel.
The last home game here, Quick Six didn't even get let out of the corral. Been busy tonight. 2nd and 7 here for Strevler. 20 seconds on the clock. On the run to his left. He's in trouble. He's hit. Oh, he's popped as he throws. Thomas tracked him down and finished the job.
Come around the edge, and Strebler just looking to make a deep throw, trying to get a touchdown, maybe set something up, and he gets whacked from the backside.
Kalon Thomas made him pay for hanging on to that ball a little bit longer than maybe he should have. Looks like he might be feeling the side effects of that big hit as well. Third down for Winnipeg. Strebler, far side. One hops it in to Stearns, and that'll be a turnover on downs. It's the fourth turnover of the game for Winnipeg, and P.J. Walker will come out onto the field to take a knee and claim a Stampede Bowl.
You know, all week, Dave Dickinson has been saying to the media and to us, when asked about this 3-0 Bomber team coming in, you know, any team can win on any given night. You have to execute, you have to be balanced. They came in with great confidence in their quarterback, who played excellent. And the unsung hero of this game for Calgary, their offensive line. Lots of time for Vernon Adams, and 100-yard rushing, or almost, for Dedrick Mills.
Yeah, over 100 yards rushing as a team, but 93 for Dedrick Mills. And the first ever Stampede Bowl stays in Calgary. Stampeders victorious in convincing fashion, 37-16. Your final at McMahon. Winnipeg suffers defeat for the first time this season, and Calgary improves to 3-1.